Imagine you are in the freezing, pitch-black cockpit of a commercial airplane plunging rapidly toward the Atlantic Ocean. You are seconds away from hitting the water. You grab the emergency radio, smash the transmit button, and at the top of your lungs, you scream the name of a cheerful spring festival where children frolic in grassy fields and dance around a pole covered in colorful ribbons. Sounds like sheer, unhinged insanity, doesn't it? But that is exactly what you are doing when you yell Mayday. Why does a joyous, flower-filled holiday mean certain death? To understand that, you first have to accept a highly uncomfortable truth. The language you speak every single day is completely, fundamentally broken. We are taught from a very young age that English is a perfectly logical system of communication. A tidy, well-organized toolbox for human beings to share ideas and survive. But the truth is, English isn't a structured language. It is a chaotic, mutating virus. It's what happens when Vikings, Romans, and French knights take turns invading the same damp island for 1,000 years, leaving their vocabulary scattered everywhere like broken glass. And because of this, you are constantly being lied to by the words coming out of your own mouth. Let's look at the absolute absurdity of the things we say without blinking. A guinea pig is neither from Guinea, nor is it a pig, it's a rodent from the Andes. A pineapple contains 0 pine and 0 apple. A hamburger contains absolutely no ham. Sweetbreads are neither sweet, nor are they bread, they are the pancreas of a calf. An eggplant has absolutely nothing to do with eggs. We drive on a parkway, but we park on a driveway. We send cargo by ship, but we send cargo by car and call it a shipment. You recite at a play, but you play at a recital. If a vegetarian eats vegetables, what exactly does a humanitarian eat? It is completely absurd. And it gets worse when you look at how we actually spell, pronounce, and pair these lies. Look at the words tomb, comb, and bomb. They look like structural triplets, yet they sound like they belong in 3 completely different languages. If a teacher taught, why didn't a preacher praught? If the plural of tooth is teeth, why isn't the plural of booth beef? Take the word Q. It is literally just the letter Q followed by 4 entirely silent letters waiting in a line. It's an architectural nightmare. But this isn't just about weird spelling. These linguistic glitches actively mess with human psychology, and in some cases, they are incredibly dangerous. Human survival relies heavily on fast, unconscious pattern recognition. We don't have time to overthink, our biology demands that we just react. When our brain sees the prefix in dash, it immediately categorizes it as a negation. Not. Invisible means not visible. Inedible means not edible. Incurable means not curable. So when a tired, stressed-out factory worker reads the word inflammable stenciled on the side of a massive steel tank of industrial chemicals, their biological quirk immediately whispers, not flammable. Safe from fire. But this cognitive glitch was literally getting people killed. The word actually originated from the Latin inflamma, meaning to burst into flames. It's a psychological trap so dangerous that global safety commissions eventually had to run massive campaigns to physically erase the word from warning labels and replace it with just flammable. English is completely infested with these booby traps. Linguists call them contronyms, or Janus words, named after the two-faced Roman god. Words that are their own evil twins. Words that hold 2 entirely opposite meanings at the exact same time. Take the word cleave. Does it mean to stick securely together, like a family, or does it mean to violently split apart with a heavy axe? It means exactly both. If you seed a lawn, you are adding seeds to it. If you seed a tomato, you are removing them. If an alarm goes off, it turns on. But if you turn it off, it stops. If someone is left in a room, they stayed there. But if they left the room, they are gone. To weather a storm means to endure and survive it. But if a rock is weathered, it is degrading and wearing away. If you screen a movie, you are showing it to everyone. But if you screen a phone call, you are hiding from it. Even our idioms are broken. A wise man and a wise guy are complete opposites. Yet, a slim chance and a fat chance mean the exact same thing. You fill in a form by filling it out. The language is a total minefield. And when you are in a high-stress, life-or-death scenario, a minefield is the absolute last thing you need. But before we dive into how this linguistic chaos forced us to engineer a fake word to save our lives in a crashing airplane, please subscribe to this almost dead channel for exactly 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank you for resuscitating me. Now, back to the plunging airplane. In a true emergency, When your heart rate spikes over 120 beats per minute and cortisol floods your system, auditory processing in the human brain rapidly degrades. You experience a phenomenon called sensory exclusion. Your brain filters out background noise, which sounds helpful, until you realize it also starts scrambling similar-sounding syllables. In the early days of aviation, this was a massive problem. Pilots plunging out of the sky over the English Channel would scream "help," or the French "shelid," into their radios. But in a raging storm of radio static and engine roar, these words were entirely useless. The sharp H and P in help are easily swallowed by static. Ud sounds like a dozen other atmospheric pops and hisses. Human brains couldn't decode the syllables fast enough. They desperately needed a word that couldn't be mistaken for anything else. A literal hack for the human ear. A radio officer realized he couldn't use a real dictionary word, because as we've established, real dictionary words are confusing garbage. He needed to engineer a phonetic weapon. So, he took the French phrase venez m'aider, which translates to "come help me." He isolated the last part of the phrase, Mayday, and he violently smashed it into the English phonetic alphabet. Mayday. It has absolutely zero connection to the 1st of May. It was engineered purely for its sharp, percussive consonant sounds and bright, echoing vowels. Sounds that slice through heavy static, deafening engine noise, and blinding human panic to trigger an immediate, unmistakable response in the brain. It is an acoustic survival tool masquerading as a word. So keep an eye on the words you use today, because they are mostly just an illusion. We live in a world where your nose can run, but your feet can smell. Where abbreviate is a massive, 10-letter word. Where the word lisp cruelly contains an s, and the word dyslexia is impossibly hard to spell. We rely on this language to build skyscrapers, write laws, and declare our love, but at its core, it's just three toddlers stacked in a trench coat, holding a dictionary, and actively trolling us all.